Welcome to Finscale, the show that takes you to the heart of finance transformation. Every week, Solenne Niedercorn and her guests explore new initiatives shaping the future of the industry. Enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, bonjour à tous. I wanted to take a moment today to pause, take a step back and share with you a very honest review of 2025, not just in terms of output, but also in terms of what this year has really taught me. And for a change, I'm recording from home. 2025 was really intense and very structuring. This year was prolific, not just in episodes, but in writing, thinking, and showing up publicly more than ever before. And for the first time since 2020, I also allowed myself a real summer break. That may sound like a detail, but for me it marked a shift, a different relationship to time and sustainability. I also want to be transparent with you. Only about 15% of the episodes were recorded in English, whereas I had initially set myself a 20% target. Shame on me. I'm not saying this to justify anything. I'm saying it because it reflects something very concrete. The friction points that still exist and the areas where I need to be more disciplined going forward. 2025 was also the year I launched From Within. It's the new Finscale format exploring the inner side of business and what truly shapes leadership. I launched it because I know that a large part of this audience is not only interested in understanding markets, capital, business models, or innovation, but also in understanding what happens inside leaders, founders, or investors when they take decisions under pressure. And I'll be honest, I also launched it because this is a topic that occupies me deeply on a personal level. Questions around clarity, alignment, the inner self, faith, doubt, and decision-making have become central to how I think about leadership today. I also launched my fintech masterclass, The Fundamentals of Fintech, available online. And here again, I want to be very clear. This masterclass has not yet reached the level of success I was hoping for. I'm not hiding that. I know the content is strong and it's still available, and we'll leave the link in the episode description for those of you who want to go deeper. But to be honest, it's been a lesson in humility. And this year, Finscale has been supported by sponsors, large institutions like La Banque Postale or Revealed Business, as well as smaller but very committed partners like Supervisor or Penny Lane. I also allowed myself to test new editorial formats, including a co-hosted episode with my friend Sébastien Coinon, podcaster and host of Tech 45. Some experiments worked. Others were more exploratory, but all of them helped me refine the editorial direction and the positioning of Finscale. In terms of content, 2025 was extremely rich. We talked about venture capital with players such as Daphne, Elia, and Abracid. We explored private equity real estate with Openstone. We also discussed retail investment solutions from money market products to agricultural land with platforms like Swave or Hectarea, and also solutions designed for qualified investors such as Archinvest. We covered neobanks and commercial banks, including Revealed Business and Hero, as well as InsurTech. We spoke about impact and collective actions with Team for the Planet alongside Arthur Aubeuf, and we welcome large listed players like Worldline, major asset managers like Carmignac, as well as more focused climate tech players such as Reverse. We explored asset servicing with Bunch Capital or Coldwater Capital in the US, fund distribution with Fund Channel, and we didn't leave aside the crypto ecosystem with actors like Belém Capital, Tobam, Zodia for institutional custody or lease on market infrastructure. What mattered most wasn't the number of names, but the diversity of perspective and signals they brought. So yes, we didn't slow down. But beyond the episode themselves, 2025 also brought very clear lessons learned. The first one is about delegation. I finally learned to delegate more effectively within Finscale, and this has been a game changer. Letting go of certain operational aspects has allowed me to regain clarity, energy, I would say focus, and quite frankly, it was long overdue. It reminded me that leadership isn't about doing everything, it's about protecting what only you can do. Another lesson has been about language and confidence. I realized that I still tend to hold myself back when it comes to reaching out to English-speaking guests, partly because English is not my native language. And this is something I'm very aware of now and something I'm actively working on because I know that the value of conversations matters far more than perfection. And it forces me to accept that impact matters more than fluency. Professionally, 2025 was also a year of rebalancing. I managed to lighten my operational load to focus more on the clients I support through advisory, coaching, and board work. I don't talk much about this publicly by choice and out of discretion, but this part of my work is central to who I am professionally. I also continue my role as mentor and lecturer at HEC Paris, which I keep very close to my heart because it challenges me intellectually and keeps me connected to the next gen. For me, Finscale is a platform, and it's not the sum of what I do, it's the expression of how I think. All of this brings me to 2026. 2026 won't be about doing more. It will be about doing deeper, asking better questions, and staying honest in a world that accelerates. In 2026, I'll increase the frequency of content in English, I promise, much more deliberately than before. I'm also planning recordings in the US, especially in New York, although these projects still depend on sponsor validation. In terms of themes, my focus is becoming sharper. I want to go deeper into AI in finance, particularly agentic system and how autonomous agents are reshaping workflows, compliance, investment processes, and decision-making. I want to explore the reconfiguration of financial infrastructure, what is becoming invisible, what is being rebuilt from scratch, and who actually controls the rails. I will continue to focus on governance under pressure and how boards, founders, and investors adapt when speed, regulation, and technology collide. I also remain deeply interested in the evolution of private markets, access liquidity, intermediaries, and the psychology of capital allocation. I'm also continuing to develop the Finscale Private Talks. I'll be very honest here, I haven't managed to launch them yet at scale. The ambition behind this format is still very much alive. On the coaching side, I'll continue, but in a very limited and intentional way, working in small batches of 5 people at a time because depth matters more than volume. And separately, outside of Finscale, a few larger projects are taking shape. I'll share those when the timing is right. Before closing, I want to say thank you. This journey has been going on for 6 years now with around 400 guests, 350 episodes, and none of this exists without the people who work and support behind the scenes. My family, my friends, my team, and extended teams, those who listen to my doubts and encourage me when things feel heavy or uncertain. And to you, the listeners, thank you so much. I know many of you don't comment on social media because of time, discretion, or the nature of your roles, but I know you're there and that matters so much to me. I won't pretend solopreneurship is easy, but I have never regretted the choice I made in 2019, not once, but even with meditation and long walks alone in the mountains, moving forward solo at the helm can be very tough sometimes. That's the truth. So if you have feedback, ideas, or topics you believe deserve more depth in 2026, don't hesitate to reach out. Even a short message or a DM makes a real difference for me. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And if there is one thing this year confirmed, it's that depth still matters even when everything accelerates. I wish you a happy new year 2026. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Finscale. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the newsletter on Substack to stay up to date with the latest innovations. You can also find the podcast in audio format on all listening platforms and in video format on YouTube. See you soon with Solenne Niedercorn.